finalize this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Just happy to be here.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
At Charmin, we heard you shouldn't talk about going to the bathroom in public, so we decided to sing about it.
Roll super mega for your backside. Shake your booty, do the Charmin slide. Super mega make you feel alright. Everybody do the Charmin slide. Long-lasting TP gets everybody going. Leaves booties clean and totally glowing. Shake your booty, do the Charmin slide. Change your rollers, go with pride.
Charmin Super Mega Roll is longer lasting, so you can change the roll less often. Enjoy the go with Charmin.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling minigame. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare Studios.
Just a bit outside.
It's the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now, the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
And a good Friday afternoon to you, and it is time for the McFarland Show. Darren McFarland, David Beauclair alongside. Justin McFarland still out of town, tending to some personal business. He'll be back with us next week. Ray is alongside as well. And David, today the cameras are up and running. I know we were just in our makeup rooms. We were in the green rooms, and we were getting done up for the big, for video purposes today. We're up and running today. No problems.
A multimedia extravaganza.
Tell you what, if you can listen to us and watch us, I mean, is that not...
It doesn't get any better.
The best of both worlds? So,
yes.
Just so you know out there in Radio Land, you can watch us Twitch, our Twitter, Facebook, and our YouTube page is how you can watch us. See, we're waving. Hello, hi. Glad you're tuning in. A lot of things to get into today. By the way, John McLean is going to join us at 2:20. We'll talk about the Texans. He's also in Houston. He covers the Astros now. His role's a little bit different, and Game 1 of the World Series is tonight. So we'll talk to John McLean at 2:20. Trey Wingo, we'll talk a little NFL with him at 3 o'clock. But some news going on in sports world. Let's start with college football. We talked to Bill Keane on the program yesterday. There's kind of a big game in Knoxville Saturday night under the lights. Tennessee, Kentucky. Can Tennessee continue to remain unbeaten before the big matchup against Georgia the following week? And it looks like they have good news. Wide receiver Cedric Tillman is expected to return and play against Kentucky. He has been cleared.
Keep him on the bench. They don't need him.
They don't need Cedric. Who needs Cedric Tillman?
They're one of the best offenses in the country right now. He's just going to screw it up. Come on.
Well, we laugh, but that would happen if they only scored 28 points.
Oh, that'll be the story, won't it? But this is, I asked Bill about this yesterday. I really think this is a dangerous, dangerous game for Tennessee, and not because they're going to be looking ahead to Georgia. I don't think that's the issue. But I said this, they started the season trying to prove to themselves and to everybody else they're good. The Pittsburgh win was a good one. The Florida win was a good one. You beat the heck out of LSU. Okay, everyone agrees you're a good team. By that time, you're top 10. Now you got Alabama. Find out just how good you are. You beat Alabama in an all-time college football classic. Okay, you're a really, really, really good team. You got UT Martin. Okay, so what? That's a nice exhale after Alabama. Now, for the first time this season, Tennessee really doesn't have anything to prove. I mean, they've got things to play for, but they don't have to prove anything to anybody anymore, and including themselves. And human nature is a funny thing, you know, when you sort of flip a switch like that, and you've convinced yourself, you've convinced everybody else. It's Kentucky is certainly no slouch, a top 20 team. This is where you have to sort of justify the Alabama win and don't screw it up this week, because Kentucky's good enough to beat you, but you're better. So don't screw it up.
I would be more on board with you if this game was in Lexington, because I think because the game's at Neyland Stadium, that's going to help Tennessee. They've been obviously very good at home. I think it would have been a really interesting read to see them go to Lexington and see if they do. Again, history's on their side. They have dominated Kentucky over the last 3+ decades in football. But I think because it's home, even if Cedric Tillman messes up their mojo or they come out a little sluggish, I think being at home and their firepower, really when you think about it, David, let me, I guess, go through the games. I mean, take out, obviously, the Alabama game. But have they really been tested? I mean, the Pitt game, but they haven't really been tested. I mean, they owned LSU in Baton Rouge. I mean, that was really never a game. I mean, LSU fumbled the opening kickoff, and that was it. I mean, Tennessee just ran away from them. I mean, they haven't really had any games where they've had to, kick it in gear or – yeah, you're right. I mean,
yeah, well, they certainly haven't had to come from way back,
right?
Where they've had their backs against the wall. Yes, Alabama, they were behind it, but it was back and forth. It was as much a tennis match as anything. But yeah, it doesn't feel like Tennessee has gotten off the mat at any point this year and really found some resolve. I mean, things have gone well, and you're not going to go through 12 weeks of a college football season and not have to face that at some point. And that's where I say this feels like the game where they're going to have to do that. And maybe, as odd as it sounds with that offense, maybe you have to win this one 24-20 with a late touchdown or something like that. But this is the one that, I mean, even more so than South Carolina, because if you get through, who knows what happens with Georgia. But say they win these next two, beat Missouri, then you're looking at South Carolina and Vanderbilt. You're counting Vanderbilt as a win. Going to Columbia is maybe another trouble spot, but this is the one from the moment they beat Alabama. I was just like, I went and looked at the schedule and I was like, Kentucky just looks like a rough spot, just a potential rough spot to me.
Pretty interesting. Also in college football news, it's good to be Hugh Freeze today. New contract. I would have thought Auburn seems like, Auburn is going to go out and just throw the Brinks truck at him, and he'll be Auburn's next coach. It makes sense, right? Because they're going to be desperate to get back on track. Hugh Freeze is not going anywhere. 8 years, $40 million, $5 million per year at Liberty.
Who knew Liberty had it in them?
Man.
But there must have been some Liberty officials listening to Bill King yesterday on this show, because Bill talked about that.
He did.
He said Hugh Freeze is the guy Auburn needs to go get. And somebody at Liberty said no.
No, Bill. No, Bill.
Happen.
Wait till we offer him this. I think he was already making, I think Bill even referenced this yesterday. He was making $3 million a year, but I mean, they almost double his pay, and Liberty is going to pay their football coach $5 million per year. I think what we've seen the latest, both of us, David, since we're about the same age, there was a time in a place where whenever a guy was succeeding at a smaller school, you knew, like, it wasn't if, it was when is he taking the big boy job, right? It was inevitable. Like, nobody stayed, right? They just didn't stay. Well, I know the revenues have gone up. The money is much greater, and because of the networks and, SEC network and, Big Ten network and all that, that's changed the whole game. But still, it was not if. It was when are they leaving? And nowadays, I've been caught in this trap several times. Oh, they're as good as gone. And the next thing you know, they've signed a big, rich contract, and they're not going anywhere.
Especially a guy like Hugh Freeze, who has been in the big time.
Right.
And didn't lose his job because he wasn't winning or couldn't recruit at that level, right? I mean, there's a lot less uncertainty about a Hugh Freeze than a guy who worked his way up, like a Lance Leopold, for example, who – when Kansas was 5-0, everybody had him out of there. That seems like maybe that's not going to be the case now. But there's not a lot of unknowns with Hugh Freeze. If you were a big time Power 5 school, you hired him. All you have to do is just review the NCAA manual with him a little bit. And but apparently he is very happy where he is, and Liberty has some big athletic goals, I guess.
Look, they're a 2-point conversion away from being 8-0.
Yeah.
I mean, he continues to win there at a high level, and after losing Malik Willis.
Right. And that is the incredible, because we've all seen group of 5 schools and whatever, when you have the right player or players. Yeah, like you look at Coastal Carolina and couple of the guys they sent to the NFL this year, and they're still good, but they're not what they were last year. Yeah, you take away a Malik Willis, and you thought, well, that's that for Liberty. That was fun. I hope they enjoyed those 2 years, and they can go back to being Liberty. But apparently, Liberty is something different nowadays.
Yeah,
but their basketball program's been pretty relevant too, and has been is a tough out come March, and it's not just that. I don't pay close attention to that program, but clearly something's going on over there in where are they, Virginia somewhere, right?
They kind of like to win, I guess.
I guess so.
I guess they're kind of getting used to this winning stuff. Like the Predators last night. They ended the 5-game losing streak. Nice win for them at Bridgestone Arena. St. Louis scores just over a minute in, and you're like, my gosh. Really? And then they tie it up, and then St. Louis scores again in the second period and take a lead again. It's like, really? Are they going to claw out of this thing? And then, of course, everything changed late in the second period. They get 2 huge goals in less than a minute from McCarron and Zach Stanford, who used to be former Blues player. He won he was on that roster, the team that won the Cup. And that really changed everything for them, those 2 late goals in the second period, and then they ran away with it in the third.
Yeah, I think what was important there is not just that it was 2 goals 37 seconds apart, but that it was McCarron and Sanford, and that it was sort of, that sort of took a little of the pressure off Johansson, Duchesne, Forsberg, Janot, the guys that you're counting, although Janot, I guess, had one already at that point. But, that I would think that told those guys, okay, it's not all on us. Let's go play, and that's kind of what they did after that. And I still don't love the way they're playing. Like, I don't think they fixed everything last night. I don't think they're building their attack very well. It's not layered. Like last night, they got some of the rebound goals and whatnot, but they're relying too much on Roman Yossi's ability just to carry the puck up ice, or Matt Duchene's ability to carry the puck up ice, or Philip Forsberg's. They're not connected as well as they come up the ice right now as I think they need to be, and that's what I'm going to be watching for the next couple games. But a win typically fosters that sort of thing, where guys aren't feeling the need to try to do too much on their own. And that's why I go back to a Sanford and McCarron scoring. You start to trust everybody around you a little bit more, and that's that. Yeah, that's
Sanford's goal was pretty. That was pretty.
Yeah,
that was really nice.
And it felt like Saros didn't have as much to do last night as he's had either.
I would agree with that.
You know, he made some big saves, but there's been games this year where it's felt like he's been under siege almost the whole time, and he
even Lankinen too coming in and really. Even Lankinen's start, was just like he didn't have a chance. I mean, if it wasn't for their play, it would have been way worse.
Yeah, it felt like Saros probably came out of that thinking, "Oh, that wasn't so bad."
Yeah,
tonight.
right.
Yeah,
and it's nice. I could get used to more games like this. That would be nice.
Yes.
Roman Josi, you referenced, he got his first goal of the season, and it looked like the Roman Josi that we were grown accustomed to all of last year. Another 3-point game for him. Remember, he just kept stringing 3-point games after 3-point games. That's now 25 3-point games in his career. That ties Brent Burns, or at least, yes, in his career. In the last decade, there's only 2 guys that have more 3-point games as defensemen than Roman Josi. It's Eric Carlson and Victor Hedman. Those guys are
not bad.
Kind of good, right? And that's
Norris
the company.
Trophy winners all.
I was going to say, that's the company Roman Josi is in. But he led the team in shots with 7. He had 11 shot attempts. And so maybe this is also the game that kickstarts. Roman Josi came into the game with 1 point.
Right.
On the season.
And you knew that wasn't going to last. Maybe he doesn't put up. In fact, probably he doesn't put up the numbers he did last year. But he's gonna put up numbers. There's no question.
And John Hines shuffled the D pairings around a little bit last night. So he had Ekholm split up. Obviously, we know Ryan McDonough was moved down to the third D pairing with Jeremy Lauzon. Of course, Mark Borowiecki out of the lineup. But he chose with McDonough and Ekholm both being left-handed shots. One of them was going to be in an uncomfortable spot, right? And so he decided to split them up and put them both in their natural spots.
And we've seen this. We've seen this over the years with this team. They try. It seems like they tried this with a number of guys,
they have.
and nobody ever feels comfortable enough. The coaches don't feel comfortable enough with what they're seeing. Whatever it, I don't skate particularly well, so I don't know the. How much of a difference that makes, but clearly it makes a big difference. It's why not just anybody can play with Roman Josi, for example. You've got to accommodate him, and you've got to accommodate him with the guy who's got his stick on the proper side, and it's just one of those puzzles that you have to, it's always nice to say, well, we got Ryan McDonough, we can drop him in anywhere. He's a veteran, he's played, he's done all this. Yeah, he has, but you also have to give him the chance to do what he does best, and and he's
going to lose some time.
He's going to lose some ice time, but let's face it, he's 33 years old.
Yep.
It's probably not the worst thing in the world to limit his ice time a little bit, especially when you've got a Roman Josi who can play 28 minutes a night easily.
Yeah.
Let him do his thing, and it's okay for McDonough to be that guy and chip in on special teams and do all that. So, but certainly they needed that one. However they got it, they needed 2 points last night.
And he had the top line as Forsberg, Johansson, and Duchesne. So all that beef up on the first line moved Granlund out to the wing, right? And we've seen this with both Duchesne and Granlund, 2 guys that have spent a lot of time as centermen.
Yeah.
But Duchesne's big year last year was out on the wing, and Granlund got moved up. Started with Cody Glass centering that second line with Niederreiter and Granlund, but Cody throughout the course of the game, and this happens too. He was getting skipped over some.
Cody Glass is still very much a work in progress, obviously, but they they like what they see from him this year as compared to this time a year ago. That progress is progress. You'll take it wherever you can get it. I get Johansson, Duchesne, Forsberg is an easy trio to see together. If I was coaching, I would always be really hesitant, though, to split up Forsberg and Granlund. I just think those two see each other in a way that nobody else on this team sees each other. And, when Forsberg really got rolling last year, it seemed like every goal was on a feed by Granlund, and some crazy good feeds too. And we all know it. The days of putting a line together in training camp and those guys playing 82 games together are long gone. The French connection.
Unless you're the third line,
and
because he doesn't seem to want to break them up ever.
Well, that's
and if he does, it's for like one game, and he goes right back to him.
Yeah. But that. I would, if I was John Hines, I would start every meeting thinking I'm playing Forsberg and Granlund together and work out from that. But it certainly didn't hurt them last night.
Nope. And they'll host the Washington Capitals tomorrow night at Bridgestone Arena before they head out west for their first long road trip of the season. We'll come back. We'll catch up with John McClain. We'll talk about the Texans and the Titans. Also, he's covering the Astros. Game 1 of the World Series tonight. John McClain in the On Deck Circle here on the McFarland Show, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
Are you over 50? Would you like to get up to 33% more income in retirement? Then call now for this free book, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers, from a leading financial firm on maximizing your income in retirement. That's right, free. This free book reveals little-known truths about annuities in simple-to-understand terms that will help you make the right choices before buying an annuity. And it's free. As a bonus, we'll also throw in a free annuity rate report summarizing the rates and benefits from financially strong insurers.
Call 800-715-9880.
That's right, Annuity Do's and Don'ts for Baby Boomers and Annuity Rate Report, both absolutely free for calling today.
Call 800-715-9880. That's 800-715-9880.
Sponsored by Annuity General. Producers have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer. Increased income is possible using strategies suited to your goals and may require buying multiple annuities and holding them full term.
Hey Nashville, Ray here from Run With It. Let me tell you about our sponsor, Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House. And with 4 locations in Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Spring Hill, and East Nashville, they're your home for the best gourmet pizza and craft beers in Music City. Join me on Monday nights at the East Nashville location for poker night. And if you think you know everything, try Wednesday night trivia at both locations. Gourmet pizzas, craft beers, online at boombozz.com. Boom Boss Craft Pizza and Tap House.
It's a Bill King Show.
Lane Kiffin. Let me get this straight. Bill, smooth-talking James Franklin just lost a quarterback recruit to Sun Belt Billy. Put him on the hot seat, Bill. The only thing James Franklin is good at is working the coaching carousel for a raise each year. He's really good at that. He's very, very good.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Back here on the McFarland Show, Darren McFarland, David Beauclair in for Justin McFarland today. Justin is out of town on personal business. He'll be back next week. David, I was talking with Mark Vandermeer this morning, the play-by-play man for the Texans, and I told him our next guest was coming on. He said his words were, "You're in good hands anytime you have the general on your show." I was like, you know what? That's pretty good. And you're right. We are in good hands. John McClain, he's been covering it for a long time down in Houston. Of course, Titans and Texans this weekend, and the General now joins us. John, how we doing?
Darren, David, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing good, thanks.
There's a lot going on in your city right now.
Happy
isn't
World
there?
Series. That's,
That's
right.
right.
Happy World Series Day.
It's raining like hell right now. We knew it would be, which is a bummer because the Astros and the city of Houston scheduled downtown pregame sports fest outside and around the streets around the stadium. And it's such a bummer. Hopefully it'll stop soon because they forecast the rain. Fortunately, that's why we got a retractable roof. When it had so much controversy when they played the Yankees, people thought the Astros opened it. The Astros never want it open. Major League Baseball makes them open it when in the playoffs. In the World Series 2005, they wanted to close World Series, made them keep it open. They got swept. It's a loud stadium anyway, but boy, when it's closed, it's even louder. And as you can imagine, people are really fired up here about the World Series and a chance to win one that's not tainted like the one in 2017 because of the cheating scandal.
Yeah, and that's where I wanted to go, John, because I still poll people because I'm curious because I feel like we've moved on past it. A lot of those players are gone. Dusty Baker's the manager now, and it's like, and people are just like, I still can't root for the Astros. I mean, still. And so it feels like the country's still kind of rooting against Houston because of what you brought up. What do you guys in your market talk about when it comes to that stuff?
We talk about it a lot at this time of year because everybody else is. They were in the World Series last year.
That's right.
People talked about it. It was 6 years ago. They do have Justin Verlander, Lance McCullers Jr., Yuli Gurriel, Jose Altuve, and Alex Bregman. 5 players left. Most of them are playing with other teams. They don't get booed at all. They get cheered like crazy. But it's so funny to see some player go to bat on the road who was a rookie last year, and he gets booed. I think a lot of it has to do with their sustained excellence. This is 4 World Series in 6 years. In every American League Championship Series, maybe people are tired of them winning. But I saw a poll on MLB Network that said 44 states are pulling for the Phillies over the Astros, and the only one pulling for the Astros are states around the state of Texas. And that's fine. They don't mind being the villain at all. They get people in Philadelphia are acting right now like, oh, they haven't played here. We're really going to give it to them. And I'm thinking, you ain't giving it to them any worse than they have done in New York multiple times since then and Boston. And there's nothing you're going to bring out. They're going to try to find deflatable trash cans. It wasn't trash cans. It was trash can lids. And which has been done in so many ballparks, beginning in the AL West, in Oakland, with the Angels, the Mariners, and the Rangers all did that. But if people have fun with it, that's fine. One thing people forget about in 2017, when they won the World Series, they hit better on the road than they did at home, and that didn't account for the pitching. And I wanted them to play the Dodgers in the World Series because I'm so tired of those whiners. And there's such babies out there. They still complain about it. They won a World Series on a shortened season because of the pandemic. And so now if they do win it, people out there go, well, they got lucky to play the Phillies. They didn't have to play the Dodgers.
Well, I say this, though. The Astros have not lost this postseason. I mean, is this the best that they have been playing at this time of year during this stretch you talked about over the last 6 years or whatever?
Yeah, it's amazing, David, to win 3 at Philadelphia and 4 from the Yankees in the first game against Seattle. Sorry, the first game against Seattle was here, and Yordan Alvarez hit that 3-1 walk-off home run, and that I was there for Jose Altuve hitting a walk-off home run against the Yankees. In 2019, I believe it was, to go to the World Series. And I think this one, it was even louder, and they've used that to catapult them to playing great baseball. They haven't hit nearly as well. They just swept the Yankees, even though Yordan Alvarez, Jose Altuve, and Kyle Tucker batted a combined 184. And the way they did it, besides having guys at the bottom of the order come through like Chas McCormick, is their pitching is great. I wrote a column for GallerySports.com, where there's no paywall like the Chronicle. And yesterday, and I went with the 5 best playoff pitching staffs in Astros history and stacked them up to this one. And this one, like right now, their ERA in the playoffs, 1.88. The bullpen, 33 innings, 3 runs, a 0.82 ERA. And they've got 7 starters on their staff. Jose Urquidy, who won 13 games and is 3-0 in the World Series, he hadn't been able to get in the playoffs. Ryan Stanek, one of their top relievers, 1.13 ERA in regular season. He's made 2 appearances of 1 inning, one in that 18-inning game in Seattle. So it's an embarrassment of riches when it comes to pitching for Dusty Baker, and they've been very fortunate that their pitching staff has stayed healthy.
John McClain on the line with us, writes for GallerySports.com and Sports Radio 610 down in Houston. Dusty Baker, I think, has been banged on way too much over the years. I think he's a Hall of Fame manager. I think he's been unbelievable. They started losing players after what you were talking about, and everybody thought, well, see, they're not cheating anymore. They've lost all these players, and they'll never win again to the level that they did. And here they are, back-to-back years in the World Series. What do you think about the work Dusty Baker's done?
I think him coming here when he did is the best thing's happened to his career, because this is his second World Series. He missed the first one by 1 game in the ALCS. They were down 3-0 to Tampa, and they tied it 3-3. And then in the last game they lost, and now he's been in the World Series 2 in a row. And I think based on how long he has managed, and plus he was a hell of a player, and how many games he's won for so many teams, he'd be in the Hall of Fame. But some people seem to think he's got to win a World Series to be a Hall of Famer, and everybody loves him here. He's 74 years old. He's the oldest guy manager in the World Series. His contract's up. He said he wanted to be back. He'll be back. Their general manager, James Click's contract's up. People are blasting him for not getting anything done, even though the manager, Jim Crane, said we always talk about those things after a season. But so Dusty, beloved by his players, the fans, and the media, it was a perfect convergence having him come here, stepping into this scandal, because while it may not have given the team instant credibility, he brought a lot of credibility. And he lost players like Garrett Cole, left for the Yankees after he won 20 games and struck out 326. And George Springer, they let him go to Toronto. Carlos Correa left and went to Minnesota. So they've been able to survive the loss of a lot of key personnel. And it's also interesting to me, when they lost the 2019 World Series to Washington in 7 games, both teams lost every home game. And what's happened to the Nationals, their owners should be ashamed and embarrassed the way they let that franchise go straight down the toilet, where the owner here, Jim Crane, made the right moves, managing and personnel. Not only did they overcome the scandal, and he fired the manager and general manager, and they didn't have number 1 or number 2 picks 2 years in a row, they've still stayed on top.
David, I have to believe Dusty's your favorite manager. He has a toothpick in his mouth at all times.
I got no problem with Dusty, but but I'm a big Rob Thompson fan right now, having grown up in Philly. So I'm married to a Houstonite, by the way. So things have been getting a little tense around the homestead.
I didn't
these
know
days.
Tammy was from Houston.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Actually, south of Houston, Brazoria County, small town called West Columbia. The Roughnecks are tearing people up this year down there. But you talk about old guys, John. Justin Verlander doing things not a lot of guys his age do. What is the key to his sustained success at this age in Major League Baseball?
He's 39. His contract's up. He's going to win the Cy Young Award. Somebody was pointing out when he was 22 with the Tigers, he was averaging 98 miles an hour on his fastball, topping out at 101. Now that he's 39, he averages 95 and tops out at 98.
Well, he's really slipped.
Yeah, whoever whoever performed the Tommy John surgery on him that caused him to miss 2 seasons, if I had that surgery, that's who I'd want, because he's been unbelievable. Now, he's 0-6 in the playoffs, and he got shelled in the first game against the Mariners. He bounced back in the first game against the Yankees after a rough start and pitched real well. So we don't know which Justin Verlander you're going to get. The last game he pitched in regular season, he missed some time with a calf injury. He came back right at the end, pitched against the Phillies, 5 no-hit innings, and then he went to the shower. So there's a lot of plot lines to this series. Usually people ask me who I picked. I said I picked the Astros in 6 because good pitching is supposed to get out good hitting. And the Phillies, they don't have the depth in the starters. They don't have the depth in the bullpen, but they got home run hitters. So the Astros have been great at not allowing home runs. Verlander's allowed the most. And if they've got to control Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber, Reese Hopkins, and JT Realmuto, and if they can keep those guys from hitting home runs, they should be able to win this series.
How much? I mean, clearly the Texans are struggling, have blown a couple games this year. But say the Astros win tonight, win tomorrow. How much you think that'll affect the mood on Sunday in the stadium down there when the Titans show up?
Who?
Exactly. That's what I was wondering. I was literally going to say, do they even care about the Texans?
Right now, let's see. The Astros won as many games at Yankee Stadium, 2, as the Rockets and Texans have combined to win 2.
Ooh.
Right now, the gap between the Astros and the Texans and the Rockets has never been as wide as it is now. The other 2 teams are almost inconsequential. That's why I love writing for GallerySports.com. That's Mattress Mac, our world's most renowned gambler, who will win $75 million if the Astros win this World Series, because I'm writing about a winner. It's been a long time since I've written about a winner. And truthfully,
will you get a raise if that happens?
I'm already being paid really well. And going back to the Oilers in the Love You Blue era with Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, and Bum Phillips, they were really good, but they were never favored to win at all because they played in the same division as the Steel Curtain, the greatest dynasty of the 70s and 80s. And so this is the first time I've ever been to write about a team that's actually favored to win a World Series, and I'm having a blast doing it. The Texans, every game they've played, they've had a chance to win in the fourth quarter. Sunday, they were up on the Raiders in Las Vegas 20-17 and got beat 38-20. And the only time they've been able to win was at Jacksonville, where they beat them 13-6, I think. And so they're better than they were, even though Davis Mills is not playing as well. They got a running back, Damian Pierce from Florida, rookie 4th-round pick. He's very good. Problem, and their offensive line's playing a lot better, but their top receiver, Nico Collins, I think, is out. Brandon Cooks, who really is supposed to be their number 1 receiver, hadn't played very well. They can't rush. They can't get the quarterback. And defense, when it comes to the run, they couldn't stop the clock. Derrick Henry trying to get a 4th consecutive 200-yard game against the Texans. If I was a betting man, I would bet on it.
Now they've got a linebacker that's pretty important to them that wants out. And this is not the only player that's wanted out of Houston playing for the Texans. That list is pretty big. I mean, at some point, do you think this ownership group has got to look in the mirror and say, we are a hot mess? Are they in denial? Do they recognize that? I mean, these players just keep wanting to get the hell out of there.
Well, Camus Grugier-Hill is going to get cut. They tried to trade him for a 7th, couldn't get it. A conditional 7th, couldn't get it. He'd been replaced by Christian Harris, a rookie 3rd-round pick who'd been out on IR all season with a bad hamstring injury. So they activated him last week. He played 68% of the snaps, and Grugier-Hill has to be waived, and they waived him. And that's the only time that's happened this year. It happened last year with a couple of players who were in David Culley's doghouse, starting with Zach Cunningham. He didn't get waived because he couldn't play. He got waived because of a rules violation. And he didn't show up for a COVID test when he was supposed to, like all of his other teammates. And so Culley cut him. So they don't have a lot of those problems now because people like Lovie Smith a lot. And they think, despite their 1-4-1 record, based on the way they played, they're headed in the right direction, even though they're still bad. They still need a quarterback. Davis Mills has not stepped up with a new play caller. Pep Hamilton, Tim Kelly, everybody complained about him last year. Last 5 games, Mills played better than any rookie quarterback in the NFL. And he hasn't picked up where he left off, and I blame Pep Hamilton, not Mills. Mills is coming off his best game, but remember in that last game last year, Titans needed to win here. And Mills was, threw for 301 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions with a 128.5 rating, and the Titans had to escape with a 3-point victory. But we haven't seen that Mills yet.
Last thing, John, you talked about the retractable roof. David and I have been to the home where the Texans play. Of course, it dwarfs the old Astrodome. It's beautiful. What do you think of the renderings? What do you think about the new stadium proposal and what they hope will be built and they'll be in 2026 here in Nashville?
I think it looks great. One of the things I liked, I hated to see the Oilers move to Nashville. But at the time, the politicians and business leaders and the voters, they stepped up. They built the stadium. They would not build a stadium for Bud Adams here. And now they're going to build a stadium without a big, ugly, nasty fight. And I'm really happy for Amy Adams Strunk and the people, the fans. They're going to love going to that stadium because, Nashville, with a stadium like that, it's going to get to host a whole lot more events, and that's going to be great for the city, the restaurants, the hotels, and not just hotels downtown, but all over the Mid-South. And hopefully by then the roads will actually be better because I've never seen a city other than Austin that was expanded so quick and didn't have the roads keeping up with it. And, of course, I'm talking about downtown.
Yeah, no doubt about it. John, really good stuff. Really appreciate it. Enjoy the ride in Houston. Hopefully it'll all work out for the Stros and your boss will win $75 million. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, John.
Darren and David, thank you guys very much. And please tell Lauren and Tammy I said hello.
We absolutely will. That is the great John McClain. GallerySports.com and 610.com down in Houston, Sports Radio 610 to be exact. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show on the other side here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Hey guys, it's Zach. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your bet doesn't win. Just sign up with our promo code TAS. There's so many great deals. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. And you get paid your winnings fast. All on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, with promo code TAS. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. In the state of Tennessee, you got to be 21 and up and present in Tennessee. First online, real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the TN Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Will they find a home? Sponsored by Geico. Steve is intrigued by the paranormal.
Otherworldly spirits really make a house a home, you know?
Janice has different taste.
I'd like my house to not be haunted.
Compromise is tough, but these two won't have to compromise when they bundle home and car insurance with Geico. It's easy, and they could save even more. In the end, Steve and Janice found a renovated Victorian that's only haunted from 9 to 5.
Okay, wife's home. I gotta bounce. Bye, Steve.
Bundling without compromise at Geico.com.
It's time to gear up for the holiday season. Head over to NFLshop.com today for the largest collection of officially licensed gear from all your favorite brands. NFL Shop is your ultimate gifting destination for jerseys, t-shirts, headwear, and more. Take your game day style to the next level with the best selection of NFL gear anywhere. Show off your team pride this holiday season with styles fit for the whole family. To shop now, go to NFLshop.com.
Hey, football fans. The 2023 Commodore Sport Event posters are out and brought to you by these great sponsors: Master Battery, Ewing Bass Garage and Transmission, Nationwide Business Brothers, Parker & Watts Insurance, Firefly Pediatric Dentistry, Joe Line Concrete Service, Affordable Building Cleaning, Morton Plumbing, Shane Trucking and Excavating, Hargrove Body Shop, Frederick & Clark Realty, LLC, Richard Courtney. Brought to you and paid for by Prestige Marketing, LLC. Visit them online at prestigemarketingllc.com.
Your exclusive National Sports Radio, WNSR Sky Scan forecast. Today's going to be sunny with a high of 74. A partly cloudy night tonight, low 48. Saturday, partly sunny with a stray afternoon shower, high 74. Showers and a thunderstorm Sunday. Utilizing the resources of the Mother Network on National Sports Radio, I'm WNSR's meteorologist, Jim Rinaldi.
Sports Radio, WNSR.
Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back in your first bet if it doesn't win. Just use the promo code WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads, player props. You can also combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds during the games that have already started. Get your winnings paid fast, all on the app. That's safe, secure, and super easy to use. Remember, sign up today. Use the promo code WNSR for your no-sweat first bet. That promo code again, WNSR. Make every moment for this season with FanDuel, the official sports book partner of the NFL. If you just listen to John McClain, I think he likes the Titans over the Texans. He certainly didn't seem very high on the Texans, that's for sure.
No, not at all. It's funny, Mike Vrabel on Wednesday, when he talked about them, he was he almost sounded spooked about how well they have played in the first 3 quarters of games. And I guess if you're a team that's only scored 6 fourth-quarter points all year, you certainly don't want to be behind going into the fourth of this one. But this is this I said this yesterday. This feels like the Titans' chance to sort of get up on somebody and stay up on somebody this year, which they haven't done. Although we should note, after practice today, Ryan Tannehill and Jeffrey Simmons both questionable. Tannehill did not practice today. Mike Vrabel said they're going to wait as long as possible to make a decision on Tannehill. So there is some uncertainty there, a little bit of drama going into the weekend. Although, Tannehill's demeanor at the podium Wednesday, was, that was not a guy who seemed to have any doubt or seemed to be down or whatever. Like it's like, I got an ankle injury, but he very much looked and talked like a guy who's planning on playing. Simmons' demeanor in the locker room today, a little bit more down, but certainly he's not ruling himself out at this point either.
So just to finish this off about FanDuel, if you are going to be on the Titans side or whoever, remember you must be 21 years of age and present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued and non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789.
Sorry, I jumped the gun on
that. No, that's good. It's fine. It's fine. I think it's interesting because that would affect things. Without a doubt, we've never seen since Ryan Tannehill took over. This would be 50 starts in a row since he's been the Titans' starting quarterback. So we've never seen him not start a game since he took over as the starter. So
we've never seen him struggle through a week of practice physically. He's been incredibly healthy for a guy who's been sacked a lot, who runs the ball some. He's been remarkably durable to this point.
Let's go to the Cure Hotline, and let's bring up Kenny the mailman. Kenny, what's up?
Fellas, how are y'all doing?
We're good.
Great.
Had a Titans question real quick, but I wanted to make sure. Are you bringing John McClain to your party every week?
I don't know about every week, but we'll certainly check in from time to time. He's a busy man.
That's the kind of listening I want to do. He is an amazing guest, as much as you can have him. I'm a John McClain guy.
Well, we are too, and the more he can come on, the more welcome he is. Like I said, he's just a busy man, so we'll try to make it work from time to time.
Excellent.
Kenny.
I am just absolutely stunned at the arrogance. I pull for the Titans and root for them, but I've heard people all week long saying, well, we should set everybody we should set, and we're going to do this and going to do that. I'm just stunned when people forget history. Aren't the last 10 games with the Titans neck and neck, field goal wins, losses to teams you quote-unquote shouldn't lose to, emotional? I don't understand why people just forget the past. And, hey, there's no team the Texans would rather beat than the Titans. And when you throw out an old guy and 3 free agents at a wide receiver, I don't have much confidence on scoring a lot of points.
Yeah,
I'll listen to what y'all say. We'll talk to you later.
It's been a remarkably competitive series when you look at the records over the last few years, and we'll just go with the last 3 seasons, because that's when this run of playoff appearances and division championships and everything started. Houston has won twice out of 6 games in this series, including last year when they came to Nashville and went out of here a 22-13 winner, where everybody was really kind of scratching their heads over that one. But there was the overtime game here in 2020. There was the 41-38 at the end of that season. It was a crazy game. Last year, John McClain referenced Davis Mills was throwing it all over the lot. Titans ended up getting out of Houston with a 28-25 win at the end of the regular season. It has been a surprisingly competitive series. John referenced too Tim Kelly, the former offensive coordinator down there, who is a senior offensive coach, passing game coordinator with the Titans now this year, and you wonder how much his insight into Davis Mills and what he does well and doesn't do well will help that defense this week.
But think about since Ryan Tannehill's taken over at quarterback, when you said there's really never been any kind of scary weeks. Well, this is the part that has been scary about. You say, well, then that's why the backup has been Logan Woodside. So it's been like Logan Woodside, or I know Mariota at the very beginning,
right,
but then Logan Woodside.
2 years of Logan Woodside,
right? And now a rookie quarterback that I think all of us right now. I don't know. I'm not going to speak for you, but I don't think he's ready for this spot. Right? I don't think so.
I think he's ready to play in the NFL. I don't think he's ready to direct an offense for 60 plays in the NFL. I think it's, based on what we saw in the preseason, like keep in mind, through most of the preseason, coaches were talking about how excited they were that he was able to get the play call from the offensive coordinator and call it in the huddle properly and take the snap from center. Like, these are all things he didn't do in college, right? At college it was you line up, you look over to the sideline. One coach is holding up a sign that tells the wide receivers what to do. Another coach holds up a sign that tells the backs what to do, and somebody signals into the quarterback, this is what you're doing, and they minimized it that way. He's taking snaps from the shotgun all the time. I mean, these are, as great an athlete as he is, as smart a guy as Malik Willis is, as good a teammate as he, all the things that you like about him as a quarterback, the actual fundamentals of playing quarterback, he didn't do a lot of it in college. So, and then it got into the preseason too, and you see him running around, and it's so exciting and everything, and Mike Vrabel's like, yeah, but what he needs to understand is you don't come out of the back of the pocket. You step up in the pocket, and those are all the kinds of things. So say, for example, Tannehill can't play Sunday. I would suspect we would see a lot of what we saw in the preseason, which would be some spectacular moments where you go, holy cow, this guy is unbelievable. But I would also expect some
mistakes,
some brutal mistakes, some a throw or two where you're thinking, why in the hell did he throw it there? But that's all part of the process of learning to play quarterback in the NFL.
Eric, hang with us. We'll come back and close out the hour with your phone call. More of the McFarland Show next.
Woo, it's a scorcher out there, but we've got tips that'll keep you chilling this August. Tip number 1, keep your AC in peak condition. Tip number 2, drink lots of fluids. Tip number 3, go for refreshing top prizes up to a cool $1 million by playing all new August Insta games from the Tennessee Lottery. All of these exhilarating games can lead to cold, hard cash. So head to the shade of your nearest Tennessee Lottery retailer and enjoy some game-changing fun today.
Only from the Tennessee Lottery. Please play responsibly.
From scholarship and grant programs to providing students with the qualifications and certifications they need to start their professional careers, the Tennessee Lottery has awarded more than $6.5 billion in funding to education programs, and we're proud to play our part. See for yourself how all of the fun of the Tennessee Lottery goes to supporting someone's future and a brighter tomorrow at tnlottery.com.
Are you tired of your current vehicle? Maybe looking for a new or pre-owned vehicle? Hey guys, it's Zach. Hayes Nissan of Rivergate is the best choice for your vehicle needs. Located at 1550 Gallatin Pike North in Madison, Hayes Nissan of Rivergate has been serving the Middle Tennessee community for over 3 decades. That gives you confidence that Hayes Nissan of Rivergate can find the perfect vehicle for your lifestyle and your budget. Their friendly and knowledgeable staff will make sure you are taken care of. I should know because I've seen it firsthand. Every vehicle I've purchased has been from Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, and I love the entire process. Now, I don't want you to forget about their award-winning parts and service department. It has everything you need to get you back on the road. Go visit them on the web at nissanofrivergate.com. They're open there 24/7, 365 days a year. Or give them a call at 615-865-7220. Again, that number is 615-865-7220. That's Hayes Nissan of Rivergate, where your dollar always goes farther.
Realtors abide by a code of ethics. This is Article 9 in action. Beth, a first-time homebuyer, knew nothing about the home buying process, except that she wanted to buy a home. But her realtor had the expertise to make sure Beth understood every document, even giving her copies to review with her lawyer so Beth could close on her first home with confidence. Complicated things explained in simple terms. The difference between an agent and a realtor is real. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
It's the afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
You know what the Mets stand for?
Metropolitan.
Yeah, that one.
Metropolitan is a flavor of ice cream, right?
Neapolitan.
Oh, okay.
Was that real?
I mean, half and half.
Oh, man. You talk about throwing me off complete. My equator is gone.
The afternoon stretch. Afternoon stretch with Zach Williams and Bruno Reagan.
Here on the McFarland Show on this Friday afternoon. Darren McFarland, David Beauclair here with you. Trey Wingo will start the second hour of the program. Let's go back to the Cure Hotline, and Eric has been waiting patiently. Eric, what's up?
Hey, guys, I know I'm going to get off quick because you're close to the top of the hour. First of all, I just want to thank you, Darren, for having John McClain on. You remember,
sure thing.
One of the last events, and you may have been there too, that I remember where, of course, I saw Joe Bello live. I think it was the last time I saw him. Was an event where John had a movie premiere with Anson Mount that he had a cameo in. It was at the Green Hill 16. I think it was the last time I ran into Joe Bello. That was about 9 or 10 years ago because I know he's been in poor health last few years.
Eric, I'm going to remind. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong on this, but I'm pretty sure that burger joint there on the corner, I ran into you in that burger joint on the way to that event. I can't even think of the name of that place, but I think you were in there eating.
Was it Cheeseburger Charlie's, or have they changed the name?
I think that was the name then. Yes, I think you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it may have been Darren. Yeah, I did see you in there one night. Yeah.
I think it was before. I think it was before that event because I don't get to Green Hills much. I'm going to be honest.
Yeah. I used to go there a lot, but I don't much anymore. Traffic there is a nightmare.
It's crazy.
I've also been dealing with some health issues. So if I, in fact, go to the movies now, I usually go to Hollywood 27 because that's the one I live closest to. But real quick on the Titans, it would not shock me if they lose Sunday. I mean, other than Derrick Henry, we really don't have an offensive weapon that really scares anybody. And I tell you what, you talked about Tannehill in that situation, of course, Jeffrey Simmons. I hadn't heard, what about Ben Jones? Because I know he had an ankle injury too, but I had not heard anything about him, whether or not he was going to play Sunday.
He was a limited participant in practice Wednesday, full practice yesterday. He's Ben Jones. He's going to be out there. He's going to play. I don't know if he's how close to 100% he's going to be.
If he's out, then you know Ben Jones has got real issues. If he's not playing.
Yeah, guys, regardless of what happens, I think it's going to be a close football game. So whether or not the Titans win or lose, and it would not shock me if they lose. I'm hoping they win because the next game after that is at Kansas City, and I don't like the chances going to play the Chiefs. Guys, y'all take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. You do the same, Eric. I think there's a reason why this line is so low.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's not a secret. Those cats out in Vegas, those odds makers are pretty good. You know, they're pretty good at what they do. And, at first glance, you're like, oh, you're playing the Texans. Oh, you got to be, Titans should be an 8.5-point favorite. Well, you just chronicled the games here. And guess what? There were many times when the Titans were the much better team, and it was like, really? Is this really happening?
And yeah, those were Titans teams that were scoring 30 points,
right.
35 points a game. This bunch is not doing that.
No. So it's just going to be hard for them to blow anybody out. It just really is. And now we're talking about all the things that we've already talked about. A quarterback that's going to be hobbled if he's out there.
Yeah.
A center that's hobbled. He'll be out there, but he's hobbled. An offensive line that already has issues, and they're void of weapons, right? They've got bodies out there, but they're not really weapons.
Yeah.
That'll do it for hour number one. We'll come back and begin the second hour with Trey Wingo. We'll get into more Titans-Texans and all NFL things with Trey. That's next here on the McFarland Show.
On air and online, Sports Radio WNSR, Brentwood, Nashville.
ABC News, I'm Rena Roy. Authorities in San Francisco have named a suspect they say was found inside House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's home, assaulting her husband with a hammer. Speaker Pelosi was in Washington, D.C. at the time. ABC's Catherine Falders has more on the suspect and charges.
They did say that this motive for the attack is still trying to be determined here. They said that a man who they named as David DePepe, that he will be charged with attempted homicide, assault with a deadly weapon, elder abuse, and burglary. He said also several additional felonies.
A spokesperson for Speaker Pelosi says her husband Paul was taken to a hospital and is expected to recover. Tomorrow marks 10 years since Superstorm Sandy hit the tri-state area. The massive storm caused widespread devastation and deadly flooding. Word today, music legend Jerry Lee Lewis has died. The pioneer of rock is known for his piano-pounding hits, including Whole Lotta Shakin' Going On. Lewis was 87. This is ABC News.
Dr. Travis Stork here to tell you about a great pain reliever called Salon Pass Pain Relieving Patches. Salon Pass is pain medicine in a patch. You stick it right on sore muscles for up to 8 hours. Clinical research has shown that people that used Salon Pass reported less pain with improvement in mood, sleep, and the ability to work. Safe, effective relief is one peel and place away. Salon Pass, it's good medicine.
How long does it take to tackle a home project? With Angie, you could cross it off your list before this ad is over. Just tell us what you need. Indoor or outdoor, repair or redesign. And we handle the rest, sending a top pro to get it done. You don't have to lift a finger, except to tap the screen or click the mouse. Plus, Angie is free to use. So bring us your next home project, and we'll bring it home. Download the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com to get started.
Now's the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today to get started with $150 free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with the promo code GregP. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine all of those across a variety of platforms with same-game parlays for a bigger payout, live betting. You see a trend, something that's going on in a game, you can get updated odds on games that have already started and get you paid your winnings fast. All that on the app that's saved by using the promo code GregP. All that on the app. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets, win or lose. Promo code GregP. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You got to be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager. Only $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued non-withdrawable. Free bets that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
Listen, you can't handle the truth. It's about to go off. Live from the WNSR Strike and Spare studio.
Just a bit outside.
Now back to the McFarland Show with Darren McFarland and Fox 17's Justin McFarland.
Show me the money!
Call now on the Cure Hotline at 615-844-5600.
Oh, righty then.
Now the McFarland Show with Darren and Justin.
Second hour on this Friday afternoon, Darren McFarland and David Beauclair. Justin is out of town on personal business. He'll be back with us next week. Let's talk a little NFL with Trey Wingo. He's good to do that with. Trey, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Doing fantastic here in Nashville. You know, we had John McClain on last hour. I tell you what, the hype around the Titans-Texans game, Trey, is just it's pegged right now in Houston. Oh, wait a minute. Actually, he painted the picture. Nobody gives a damn in Houston about the Texans. It's crazy. Like, all their focus is on the Astros. They don't even care about the Texans.
I don't think they care about the Texans even when the Astros aren't playing, to be honest.
Fair enough. They're a hot mess, aren't they?
Well, they're a hot mess of their own making.
Yep.
I will say, look, I like Lovie Smith. I hope he succeeds. I'm very happy that Jack Easterby is no longer part of the equation. I couldn't figure out what the hell he did for that team anyway. And yeah, it's been a really brutal last few years. Hey, let's get rid of DeAndre Hopkins. Let's trade him away for a beat up running back. Hey, let's make sure our best player in franchise history, J.J. Watt, wants to leave. And then before all the other issues arose, they certainly alienated a quarterback who was alienated himself for 11 games for a different reason entirely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. When you see the Titans, we talk about it a lot here. It's not pretty. They're not going to win any pageants with these wins. But Mike Vrabel and the job he's done, again, bodies falling all over the place. Every week we watch their game, Trey, and we cover them, and it's like, who the hell is that guy? Who is that guy that just did a pick six? I mean, you got to Google him. It's like, and that happens all the time. When you see the work he's done, when you watch this Titans team, if you do, what do you think?
I think it's very indicative of who he was as a player and where he played. You know what I mean? People have this sort of romantic memory of the Patriots when they were winning all those Super Bowls in the 2000s, not in the more recent, but in the aughts between 2001 and 2010. And they just have this memory of the Patriots just killing everybody. The only year they killed everybody, they didn't win the Super Bowl in 2007 when the Giants beat them in Super Bowl 42. The Patriots won a bunch of games ugly during that decade. They didn't care who and they didn't care how. All they cared about was, did we get the W? And that's what Mike Vrabel sort of grew up in those glory years with the Patriots, and that's the way he's coaching. He does not care how they get it done. He doesn't care who gets the credit. He doesn't care who gets the glory. The only bottom line is, did we get the win? And I thought that video of him hugging Ben Jones coming off the field was just absolutely the epitome of what Vrabel is as a coach, having been a player and knows what it's like, and sort of embracing Ben for the things he allowed the opposition to do to his body, knowing he wasn't even remotely right to be out there. And that sums it up. Like, to me, they should already, Vrabel will kill me for saying this, but like, go ahead and print the T-shirts, man. I don't know who's beating you guys in the division.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look that way. And that moment you're talking about was a win over the Colts, where they've now beat them 5 times, and you know the history was not good. The Colts had their way with them over the years with Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck. In fact, speaking of that, you got a chance on half-forgotten history to sit down and have a conversation with Dwight Freeney. How did that go?
It was great. Dwight is a Connecticut kid from Bloomfield, and then went from there to Syracuse before being a first-round draft pick of the Colts. And he was, to me, like, he was much in the same way that like Russell Wilson and Kyler Murray sort of reshaped the dynamic of what a quarterback should be, like looks-wise. Dwight was the first sort of undersized speed rusher that wasn't a tweener and wasn't a considered, you can't play this guy in every down. You have to bring him in on certain rush situations. He sort of flipped the script for that. And then, coincidentally, I guess is the word, his running mate, Robert Mathis, wasn't much bigger, and they had such great success. Freeney 125 sacks in his career, and Mathis 123 and a half. They sort of reworked how people thought about what an edge presence could be in the NFL. So it was great to have that conversation with them.
When you talk about the copycat nature of this league like that. And you look at, there's no doubt this is the golden age of the forward pass and all that. But when you look at what the Titans did with Derrick Henry in 2019, 2020 specifically, and you see Nick Chubb, and you see what Jonathan Taylor did last year, and you see Saquon Barkley and the workload he's getting, did the Titans sort of remind folks in the NFL that the handoff is still a valuable play, you think?
Well, I don't know if they reminded people, but it's certainly spreading. Hell, let's talk about Josh Jacobs, right? 140-plus yards in each of his 3 last games. He's been absolutely incredible. I do think we're seeing a course correction. Everything has been geared toward the offense and scoring more points because everybody knows the more points, for the most sake, people like it. It's more entertaining. That 13-3 Super Bowl, which I loved, everybody hated. So I think that there's been a course correction. The NFL defensive coordinators are not dummies. They're like, okay, crap. We can't just let people shred us as much as they have been over the last few years. Let's find a way. And by maybe overly conceding and being concerned about the passing game has allowed a lot of teams to sort of revitalize their rushing attack. And I'm here for it, man. I don't think we're ever going to go back to a 50-50 split, but I think the relevance of the running game matters, especially when you're trying to close out football games.
And as long as there are Jamar Chases coming into the league, though, of course, the forward pass is certainly not going to go out of style. How much does his injury hurt/change things for the Bengals as one of the front runners in the AFC right now?
I think dramatically. Like, you could make an argument very convincing that despite all the weapons in Buffalo and despite Patrick Mahomes and the weapon he just got in Kadarius Toney with everybody else, there's not a better group of young skill position players in football than what we're seeing in Cincinnati with Burrow and Chase and Boyd and Higgins and Mixon. And now you take the home run hitter out of the equation. Well, one of the reasons you get Boyd on a 60-yard touchdown pass or Higgins on a 57-yard touchdown pass is because everyone was scared to death of Jamar Chase. Okay? And he helps out in the run game, too. If he's out 4 to 6 weeks, this is a very different sort of situation we're looking at. I would have put a healthy Bengals squad right up there with the Bills and Chiefs in the AFC, and now it's maybe the Ravens, maybe the Titans. It changes things dramatically about who that third team could be.
Thursday night game last night, Bucs fall at home to the Ravens. First time in Tom Brady's career at this point in a season, he's been under 500. That's amazing to think about. Bucs also lose Shaq Barrett, torn Achilles, done for the year. Giselle has filed for divorce. The Bucs look like a hot mess. I know it's Tom Brady, and we're all guilty of going, yeah, I've counted him out before, and boy, did he burn me. I don't know if we're going to get burnt this time, Trey.
Well, here's the only way to answer that sort of honestly, is that, yeah, we're all terrified of this, but this is not the Tom Brady-led Bill Belichick coach Patriots. He doesn't have Rob Gronkowski. The middle of that line, guard, center, guard, is not what it was a year ago. Ali Marpet's retired. Ryan Jensen's hurt for the year in all likelihood, and Alex Kappa is trying to protect Joe Burrow. So you have a 45-year-old quarterback without a tight end. I mean, no Gronk this year. And, beat up Julio Jones. Mike Evans doesn't look right. Here's the only way I think we avoid getting burnt. By rule, someone has to win that division. So there will be a playoff contender from the NFC South. But think about it, guys. This Sunday, the winner of the game between the 2-5 Carolina Panthers and the 3-4 Atlanta Falcons will be in sole possession of first place in the NFC South.
And talking about all-time great quarterbacks, Geno Smith and it has the Seahawks rolling. Explain that to me.
Oh, well, if I could do that, I'd be, running the hotel in Vegas, okay? Not working for Caesars. But look, but this is what I love about it, right? Like, the Giants have as many wins so far this season as the Packers and Bucks combined. Geno Smith leads the NFL in completion percentage, and Russell Wilson can't hit water if he fell out of a boat. Like, you can't predict. You cannot make this stuff up. That's what the NFL does better than anybody else. They sell hope, because every year there's going to be 4 or 5 teams previous year that somehow find a way to sneak back into the equation, and it certainly looks like the Seattle Seahawks might just be one of them.
Along those same lines, I think a really interesting game this week is the Jets-Patriots. Is this a game that the Jets need to win to finally convince us they are for real this year?
Well, it's not. Let me take it one step further. I think they're going to be around because the Patriots aren't very good, and Miami is okay with or without Tua, and the Bills are the Bills. So you're fighting for a wild card there between all these other teams. But the Jets need to win with their quarterback, okay? Like, they've won 3 straight games without a touchdown pass. That's really hard to do. and as much as we love Breece Hall, and he's gone for the year now, and Sauce Gardner and Quinnen Williams and all these, Corey Davis is now out. Vera Tucker is out on that offensive line for the Jets. Their quarterback has to play better. I mean, they're trying to end 12 straight losses to the New England Patriots. Only the Chiefs with 13 straight wins over the Broncos has a longer active dominance of one team right now. And, you got Bailey Zappi, Mac Jones. It looks like Mac Jones is going to start. But, the Jets need to get better play from their quarterback. No one's talking about it because they're winning, but their quarterback, Zach Wilson, has been, at best, slightly less than pedestrian. And if they're going to compete against the Tuas with Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill and Allen with Diggs and Davis and Knox, all these unbelievable weapons, Zach Wilson has to eventually be a part of the equation. Right now they're winning in spite of him, not because of him.
You brought up Caesars Sportsbook. This is another thing that we love about the NFL. I mean, basically the Bills are a double-digit favorite at home over the Packers, and the Eagles are a double-digit favorite over the Steelers. Everything else is like a field goal or less this week, which is crazy, right?
Well, I mean, it is. Well, think about it this way. We have yet to have a week this season where the favorites ruled. Last week it was 7-7. I think it's 44-59 and something for the season. So against the spread. So yeah, this has been the year of the underdogs. They're clipping along by about 40%. But real quickly to those big spreads you were talking about, Philadelphia hosting the Steelers. The last time the Steelers won in Philadelphia, neither one of you were alive. It was 1965. That's how long it's been.
I was close.
I was like, we were both close, but you were actually factually correct. Wow.
There you go. And the Packers thing, like we all thought this was going to be a Super Bowl preview, right? Packers, Bills. They're just trying not to get embarrassed. I mean, this is the first time in Aaron Rodgers' career, 234 straight games, regular and playoffs, that he's ever been a double-digit underdog. And the worst place you can be as a double-digit underdog right now is Buffalo. They have not lost a home game as a double-digit favorite since Week 8 of the 1992 season.
Oh, my.
Holy cow.
18-0 straight up, including twice this year. They were double-digit favorites against the Titans, as you know, won by 34, and double-digit favorites against the Steelers, won by 35. Now, look, stranger things could happen. The Panthers just beat the Bucs last week with their third-string quarterback, interim head coach, and having shipped off their best player, and they beat them by 18. So, like, stranger things could happen, but I just don't see this going well for the Packers.
Okay, last thing, Trey. We've talked all week about, and I'm guilty of doing this a lot, and again, this is along the lines of Caesars Sportsbook. You know, what do they know that we don't know? Why is this line so low on the Titans and the Texans? I get scared, and it's like, everybody loves the Titans here. The Texans stink, blah, blah, blah. But, okay, so let's just end it with this. Should we be scared? Why is that line like 2.5?
You know what? I wish I had a better answer for you. I guess only because of the injury situation. I mean, Tennessee's beat up, and they've had their issues. But this is a game. The thing about the Texans, which has been very consistent, they'll compete. Like they'll compete every week. They're not going to roll over for anybody. They may make mistakes. They may come up short, but they're not going to quit. Like the Colts have waved the white flag, guys. Like, they're going with Sam Ellinger for the rest of the year. Let's just be honest about it. The Colts have decided to 2023, and we'll see how that plays out in the locker room. They did Matt Ryan dirty. Look, he played poorly in that loss to you guys, but he got the crap beat out of him. And I think that the Colts have just decided we'd rather suck with Sam Ellinger and get a really good draft pick, then go 7-9-1 with Matt Ryan and be stuck with what do we do next.
And that's amazing. They're 500. I mean, it's you would think they're over on the season. It's crazy.
Correct.
Trey, always good to talk to you. Thanks so much for doing this. Keep up the good work, and we'll talk to you down the road.
Thanks, Trey.
Anytime, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, that is Trey Wingo. Really appreciate him joining us. Wingo Z on Twitter is how you can get in touch with him. We'll come back. More of the McFarland Show. We're wide open the rest of the way if you want to jump in on the Cure Hotline, 615-844-5600, 844-5600. Going back into a big week of sports this weekend. Let's talk about it. We'll do that next here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required. Refund available for 60 days after purchase.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. Results are guaranteed or your money back. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-785-9132. That's 800-785-9132. U.S. Tax Shield, 800-785-9132.
From the big game to the big dance, Bar Lines at the Omni Nashville Hotel downtown is your game day and watch party headquarters. Don't worry about entertaining guests and trying to feed everyone. Sit back, relax, cheer on your team, and let the Bar Line staff take care of you. Grab a Bar Line signature cocktail and enjoy some wicked deviled eggs, or a Bar Line's double stack, and finish it off with some Jack and Coke chocolate cake. Bust your belly and your bracket at Bar Lines, located in the Omni Nashville Hotel, 5th Avenue, downtown.
It's a Bill King Show.
Johnny Vegas this morning. Again, hey, Bill, is Georgia football going to be any good this year? Asking for a friend. They'll be very good. Georgia has recruited so well that they're better than everybody in the SEC East, even if they lost their roster. Georgia can lose all these players to the NFL draft. Big majority of talent. They're still better trotting out players than everybody else in the SEC East.
Weekday mornings beginning at 6 on Sports Radio 560 on 95.9 FM.
Good stuff from Trey Wingo. Man, we have had some great guests the last couple of days here on the show. Chris Johnson and Burke Nihill. Today, John McClain and Trey Wingo. It's been a lot of fun. And I was telling you, David, during the break, and Ray, because Ray is a Commanders fan. You know, we saw the schedule. It's like, man, Washington and Indy going into, what is this, week 8? Week 8, oh, Carson Wentz going up against the team that, you know, threw him out like yesterday's trash against Matt Ryan. That'll be cool. That'll be a good little storyline. How about Sam Ehlinger versus Taylor Heineke?
Woo.
Going into week 8. Yeah.
That's rough.
Let's go to the Cure Hotline. Tony in Nolensville has been waiting patiently. Tony, what's up?
Good afternoon, Darren.
How you doing?
David, I've got to say this to you, young man.
Yes, sir.
Watching you two chew that toothpick for almost 2 hours is almost too much to bear.
I'm happy to help you pass the time.
I don't know if you're competing with Dusty Baker, or are you a fan of Dusty's, or I just don't know what it is. I had to turn it off the TV and just listen to it on the radio because I just knew you were going to swallow that toothpick.
I will not. And it is it is actually a matchstick. It is not a toothpick. It is a habit I developed some years ago, and it just it
works for you, right?
Yeah, it's just what it is. Yeah.
I just had to throw that out there. Hey, it's been good hearing you on the air, Darren. You did really good getting David come on these couple of days. Good hearing his voice back on the airways.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. A lot of fun.
Guys, we're in week 9 of college football. High school ends tonight. Can you believe this stuff is going by as quick as it does?
I know. I don't really want to even talk about it because it kind of makes me a little sad that everything is just fly. I mean, we're going into November, right? It's November next week. It's crazy how fast all this.
It is crazy, and it makes my hair get a little bit as gray and as white as y'all's are. Trust me, it really does.
Yeah, well, we know. Yeah, right. We know November. You just don't know from day to day, right? It may be 70 degrees. It may be 25. You just don't know.
That is true. I tell you, one guy that's looking forward to this weekend of playing the Texans, Zach Cunningham.
Yes.
I think if he's out on the field, and y'all know more about it, I think he is going to be in the lineup. I think he's looking forward for a little payback, and especially with the way the Texans did David Culley last year, a couple of years ago. I don't know. I can't care for him. Don't like him, and I hope we can go down there and whether it be 1 point or whether it be 20. I hope we can go down there and put a butt kicking on them.
Yeah, John McClain talked about it. Zach Cunningham got in the doghouse, couldn't get out of it. Maybe he was involved in forcing his way out of Houston. He's never really talked much about it in his time here, but missed the last 3 games with an elbow injury. But, oh, by the way, has practiced, full participant in practice every day this week. We'll be back in the lineup Sunday. And, coincidentally, 9 tackles in week 18 last year against the Texans are the most he has had in a regular season game as a member of the Titans thus far. So read into that what you will.
I think it does. I think there's a little adrenaline rush that goes through those veins when he sees them.
I think that's
one
true.
last thing, guys. I'm going to go down a different road here. And, David, you know this very well a lot. I know, Darren, you do too. But give me y'all's take on what's going on with the Preds, why they're having such a difficult time getting the W's back here. And do you think they're the lineups, the lane, the each group that comes on, do they need something missing or do they need to be mixed and interchanged a little bit? I'm going to let you go, guys. Have a great, safe weekend. Talk to you later next week.
Do the same,
Darren.
Tony. Thank you. Well, we actually talked about this in the first segment. They actually got a much-needed win last night, beating the Blues 6-2. They fell behind just over a minute in. Thomas scores, and it's like, oh, my gosh. Are you kidding me? Tanner Jeannot evened it up at 1. Then St. Louis took the lead back in the second period, and second period was what? Like 5 minutes to go, and it's like, it's 2-1. It's where's this go? And they get 2 quick goals, 2 quick strikes. McCarron and Zach Sanford going up against his old team, and Predators had all the momentum. They carried that into the third, and they skated away with the 6-2 victory. They get the empty netter there at the end as Duchesne was falling down, and Granlund would finish the night off in the 6-2 win. But to Tony's question, that's exactly what head coach John Hines did. And we talked about this in the first segment where this tends to happen in a losing streak. And they had lost 5 in a row. And hockey coaches are not afraid to switch up lines, right, and shuffle things around. And that's exactly what John Hines did.
Yeah, it went Forsberg, Duchesne, Johansson together on line 1. And, that makes that's an easy adjustment,
Yeah,
I think, to
that's
make.
easy.
You say, okay, get our best offensive players, put them together. But like I said, I think the McCarron-Sanford goal.
So you really like, though, but you brought up like Forsberg with Granlund.
I like Forsberg with Granlund because here's the thing. I don't think people think about Philip Forsberg, and Forsberg is fascinating to me because he's so talented, right? And he can do a lot of different things, but like, what is Philip Forsberg's game? If I ask you, what is Philip Forsberg's game?
Well, he's strong on the puck. We know that, right? You're not going to get the puck away from him. He's a great skater. He's strong on the puck. What is his game? I mean, he's a goal scorer. He's a dynamic player.
He's a dynamic player. I'll give you that. But see, that's my point.
I'm not getting
what happens with Forsberg. If you think about this now, Forsberg, he's got so much to his game that he sort of morphs into playing the style of the guy who's got the biggest personality on his line. Remember when he was a youngster, when he first sort of took off here, he was on a line with James Neal. What did James Neal do all the time? He snapped that shot from the bottom of the circle and everything,
Sure.
and it was such a heavy shot. You talked about all that all the time. Well, Forsberg was doing the same thing back in those days. Like he had this ridiculously good shot that he would get off quickly, and it would surprise goalies by how heavy it was. Then Neal moves on. He gets on a line with Ryan Johansson, and Johansson's a guy who likes to have his fun out there, right? Likes to be creative. All of a sudden, you're seeing Forsberg passing the puck a lot more, and there was the whole discussion: why doesn't he shoot enough, and this and that, and he's sort of, as I've watched him over the years, that's sort of what he does. Like, he doesn't have his own game. He sort of plays the game of the guy he's with, and why I like him with Granlund.
He likes the wraparound.
He does like the wraparound. Granlund's game is keep your head up, know where everybody is on the ice, make the great pass. How many of those goals that Forsberg scored last year were off great passes by Granlund that you almost can't not score on them, right? I mean, it was just so that's why I think Granlund and Forsberg together keeps Forsberg thinking about being a goal scorer.
Would you
because
move
if he knows,
Niederreiter up? If this is again you,
yeah.
So you would have Johansson sitting in that top line with Forsberg, or you would do Niederreiter and Duchesne? What would you do?
I like Forsberg, Granlund, Niederreiter.
Oh, then who would you put up on the top line?
He's in Milwaukee now. I was expecting more from Philip Tomasino. I'm a believer if you've got an offensive player, let him play offense. And as much as any skilled draft pick that this team has had in recent years, Tomasino has impressed me the most in terms of sort of his feel for the game and what he can do. And you're gonna there's gonna be growing pains there, but I think if Ryan Johansson says, look, kid, this is what I'm going to be doing, you need to adjust your game accordingly. Tomasino's going to do that, right? I mean, you're a 20-year-old, whatever you are, playing on the first line in the NHL. You want to stay there. That's what you're going to do. That's so I'm a big believer in. I don't like that. Well, he's a kid. He's got to figure out. Yeah, you put him on the fourth line a little bit to get him a little experience. But as soon as you can, if he's an offensive player, put him in offensive situations and turn him loose.
I was screaming from the mountaintops last year that he should have been on that second line instead of Cunnin.
Yeah.
I mean, Cunnin went 35 games without a point.
Right.
I mean, on the second line. Yeah. Like, you can't, or 1 point, whatever it was absurd on the second line with that little production, and you never move a guy like Tomasino. So let me ask you, with that being said, I along with a lot of others, were surprised that the move of Tomasino, and I know he didn't have a great camp, but I mean, you stuck with him all last year, and you made the playoffs. You would think that he's just going to get better. And I know they've done this with young players before, but if you stuck with him all last season and you're expecting him to make like the next jump, what is there something we don't know? I mean, why is he in Milwaukee to start off the season?
Because he can be, because he doesn't have to go through waivers.
True.
I mean, that's always a huge factor in
Sure.
those moves. That if it's a close decision between a guy who has to go through waivers and a guy who doesn't have to go through waivers, you're almost always gonna send down the guy who doesn't have to go through waivers because there's going to be an injury at some point. Whoever goes down, you're going to need them back up, and you don't want to risk losing another player. So I think it's probably just as simple as that.
I'll tell you right now, I like Afanasiev.
Yeah.
I hope we see him at some point. I really like him. He's got a huge frame. I think he's like 6'3", 6'4".
Seems like a John Hines player. It seems like that's a guy that would be here sooner rather than later.
So I hope we see him. Zachary LaRue is a guy that I love the way his style too. I know he's still very young, but I hope we see him at some point. He seems like another John Hines type, right? I mean, he's a guy that's going to stick his nose in everything. And I know he's still very young, but man, I'm curious to see those two guys. I'm really curious to see what they look like when they get a little bit of a sniff of the NHL here. Hopefully soon.
It feels like the pipeline has been restored. It was running dry there for a little bit. I mean that's what happens when you make the playoffs every year and you trade away draft picks and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember a few years ago. I think it was maybe 2017. It's maybe 5 years ago now. But I remember that was like the first time in 6. Because I remember asking David Poyle about it. It was like the first time in 6 years that the Predators had went into a draft with a first and a second round pick. Like, they just traded away so many picks over the years because you're trying to make a playoff run, and they have done a good job sort of restocking the pantry here in the last couple of years and getting more young players in the pipeline, and we'll see how quickly they all get here and what they do.
They've got the Capitals at Bridgestone Arena tomorrow night, 7 o'clock puck drop, and then they hit the road for a good while after that. We'll step away. We'll come back. By the way, Cure Hotline open, 615-844-5600, going into another big weekend of sports. If you want to join us, you can do that. More of the McFarland Show next here on WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio. Now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed. When you place your first $5 bet, that's a free bet back. Your first bet doesn't win. Just sign up with the promo code WNSR. FanDuel has all your favorite bets, from the money line to point spreads to player props. You can combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. With live betting, you'll get updated odds on games that have already started. Super easy to use. Don't fumble your chance to get $150 in free bets. Win or lose with the promo code WNSR. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. You must be 21 years of age or older and present here in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued, non-withdrawable. Free bets that expire in 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line, 1-800-889-9789.
Hey Nashville, Ray here. Many of us suffer with anxiety when going to the dentist. You guys need to go check out my amazing friends over at Bite Dentistry. Bite Dentistry is where my family goes for all our dental care. Their mission is to help patients breathe better, smile bigger, and live longer by offering a comprehensive selection of services and total dental care for every member of your family. Bite Dentistry is the only dentist in town trained and certified to offer the Vivos method that helps with people who grind their teeth at night or snore that causes sleep apnea. What's great about the Vivos methods is that it's provided for both kids and adults. They also work with a company called Guard Lab, which creates custom mouth guards, which are the same mouth guards used by professional football players. Located at 3212 West End Avenue, Suite 301, Nashville, you can set up an appointment by calling them at 615-866-2129. That's 615-866-2129, and follow them on social media and online at bitedds.com. Again, that's bitedds.com.
If you need a staycation or planning a trip to Music City, stay at Bento Living Chestnut Hill. Voted the best boutique hotel in the city by the Nashville Scene, Bento Living is located on the edge of bustling downtown and boasts on-site dining, shopping, live entertainment on the rooftop, and free fitness classes. Come experience Nashville like a local. Visit BentoChestnutHill.com to book your Music City vacation today.
This is the Greg Pogue and John Burton Show.
Welcome, Angie McCartney.
When he'd come home, Jim would say to him, "How are your bowels, son? Are you eating properly?" He'd go, "Oh, Dad, you know, I'm a beetle. You don't ask me about my bowels." Oh, it's not that funny. Come on.
We didn't expect me talking about Paul's bowels this morning.
Greg Pogue and News Channel 5's John Burton, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Got some high school football tonight. Murphy Fair's got the matchup show starting at 6:15. 6:15 until 6:45, so a 30-minute show getting you ready for the game of the week. Ravenwood at Independence. How about that? Greg Pogue and Joe Fisher. Ravenwood at Independence for Region 6, 7A title on the line tonight. And then, of course, the Mid-State Checkdown High School Football scoreboard show tonight following that, and that'll be around 9:30. Ray and Devlin will be doing all that. Ray, are you excited?
It's almost bittersweet, right? The high school regular season's ending tonight.
Yeah,
it feels like it just started.
That's kind of going along with the theme we were just talking about, right? Last segment.
Yeah.
It's here, and then it's almost gone, which is crazy to think. Also, tomorrow, programming here on WNSR, Western Kentucky and North Texas. They will kick off at 2 o'clock. The Grizzlies tomorrow night are out in Utah to take on the Jazz. Grizzlies got a win in Sacramento last night. Grizzlies and Jazz, that'll be at 7:30 on Saturday evening. And on Sunday, it'll be the Patriots and the Jets at noon on these airwaves. Last night, it was the Bucks and the Ravens. Tampa Bay has learned that Shaq Barrett has a torn Achilles. He's done for the year. The Bucs got issues. I brought this up with Trey Wingo. Here's something that I don't think has been discussed enough. And tell me you agree or disagree. All the attention on this Tampa Bay team on why they're kind of faltering. By the way, you heard that stat I read. He's never been under 500 at this point in his career.
It's crazy.
Which is insane. He's 45 years old. That everybody's just focused on Tom Brady. And I get it. He's the star. So it's like, oh, now he's old and he's terrible. And, oh, my gosh. All the focus is on that. Or they've got injuries. And this, Mike Evans, he dropped a touchdown pass last week. And Julio Jones, he's not doing anything. And blah, blah, blah. Nobody's talking about Todd Bowles as head coach. Like, maybe Todd Bowles is just a good defensive coordinator. He's had a crack at being a head coach, and he failed, and I get it. It was a bad organization, but maybe Todd Bowles isn't a very good head coach.
It's possible. I think, I thought Trey brought up a good point with the whole interior of the offensive line being diminished from a year ago.
Yeah.
And, that's a bad thing because the current trend in the NFL is you get pressure up the middle, try to get right in the quarterback's face. That's kind of where you almost need to be better there than at your tackles these days. Which is a big change from the old days when it was all about your tackles, and those are the guys who are going to be blocking somebody one-on-one, and that's still a big part of the job. But the way defenses play nowadays, the way they try to get after the quarterback, it's much more up the middle. But you look at that throw. You look at the throw last night when Brady missed Kyle Rudolph in the end zone, and you saw in the replay Brady just looked at him, said that's on me, whatever, and it was on him like that. And Kirk Herbstreit tried to excuse Brady. Well, they haven't worked together much, but what? That's an NFL veteran tight end running open. He was pretty wide open, in fact, and Tom Brady didn't even throw the ball close to him. So, I have a hard time buying that. Brady just doesn't look quite as. To me, there's always that sort of that laser look that he has, and that doesn't seem to be there. And I don't know if that's because he's frustrated because things aren't going well, or if there's something missing with him that has led him to not play as well. And who knows, the divorce thing today, what does that do to a person?
It affects him.
It's
He's
not
a human
like
being.
they've been married for a year and a half, right? They've been together a long
They
time.
have kids together.
And she's defended him publicly at times. This was I have no doubt this was a real marriage. Like I have no idea how a marriage in that tax bracket works, but I'm confident it was a real marriage. So what does that do to you in terms of your how you approach it? Like you get the sense Brady's always been able to compartmentalize everything in his life and his career and whatnot. Maybe that's harder for him to do in this case. I don't know. I don't cover. I don't see that team a lot, but this is certainly not the same Tom Brady we're used to seeing. I mean, Brady's always been a guy who missed a pass here or there where you go, what was that? But he just doesn't look sharp right now.
Yeah, I mean that relationship was not hatched on The Bachelor. So
no.
So he's a human being. He may go down as the greatest ever, but he's a human being, and his wife has filed for divorce, and I'm sure this has greatly affected him. Are there issues with the team? Yeah, there are. There's a lot but I also think the personal stuff at home, like you can't get around that. I'm sorry, you can't get around that. It is affecting him. There's probably all these things are playing into this. So I'll ask you, I'll play this little game with some of these guys, and you tell me if you believe they're done or they're not done this season, like after this season. Do you think Tom Brady is done?
Yes.
Okay.
I do. I mean, at 45 years old, come on, and he has nothing to prove, and you endure a season like this, then you say, okay, that unless that convinces him to say, well, now I'm going to prove to everybody that I'm not done, and I'm going to make one more run at it. But I think this will convince him. I probably should have stayed retired.
Okay, Matt Ryan.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
You think he's done?
I think he's done. Yeah. Wow. He just yes. I mean, and it with Matt Ryan, it might be as much the league is done with him as he being done with the game. But if you're an NFL team, what did Matt Ryan show you in the first 7 weeks of this season? That if he's a free agent next year, you say, yeah, that guy will help us. That guy will be our bridge quarterback, whatever. I think Matt Ryan's done.
It only takes one team to get desperate.
It does take one. That's right. It only takes one. You're
and
correct
they seem
about that.
to always be desperate. Somebody's always desperate.
Yes.
Remember, Joe Flacco started off the season for the Jets.
Yes, he did. and he might get in there again if Trey Lance can't, what's it?
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
I always mix up those two in my head. Zach Wilson can't start throwing touchdown passes up there.
Yeah, they're winning, but it's almost in spite of him. I guess the other thing is that people have to, these starting quarterbacks forever have to wrestle with is, am I willing to hang around and be a backup?
Yeah.
Like
Joe Flacco is.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't think he wanted to. I think obviously there's a lot of resistance there, and then you realize, well, it's either this check that, oh, by the way, still is millions of dollars to be a backup, hold a clipboard, or go out in the real world and, you're not getting those checks. Yeah. So, I don't know. Maybe because Matt Ryan probably could stick around another year or two as a backup.
Yeah.
So I'll take him as a backup.
Yeah. If he wants to. But, I'm not sure anybody would look at him and say, yeah, that'd be good for us.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers.
Yes. He's not done.
He's not done.
He's not done. I think he's done in Green Bay. I think he's done with Matt LaFleur, but he's not done playing football. And I think he would love to go somewhere else next year and show the Packers that he's not done with football. And that doesn't surprise me. Like, Matt LaFleur was here for a minute, right? One season, 2018. I can't say I know Matt LaFleur well, but the sense that I got from Matt LaFleur during his time here is that he is one of those coaches who believes 100% in his playbook. And Aaron Rodgers, as we all know, is a free thinker, a free spirit, whatnot. And I can just see where after 3 years together now, those two guys are tired of each other because I think they have completely different views on how the game is played and what, how you go about it and whatnot. And Rodgers just looks like he's tired of being there to me.
So if he's not done, and with that being said, can they coexist another year?
No, I think at this point Rodgers would force a trade in some way, shape, or form.
Rodgers would force a trade.
Yes. Yes.
That would be interesting. So let's go with the they're done premise. So we've, here in the last, let's say, handful of years, we've lost Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Phillip Rivers. I'm talking about long-time starting quarterbacks.
Eli Manning,
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yep.
And now you're talking about adding Andrew Luck, Tom Brady, Matt Ryan. Who's the next? So outside of Mahomes and Josh Allen, like what's the next wave of quarterbacks where it's got to be that right there that's a pretty good number. Like we're talking about 7, 8, like premier quarterback. Who are they?
Joe Burrow.
Okay. Lamar Jackson, is he in that group?
Lamar Jackson's just one of those guys that is always going to be polarizing. I think he's always going to have the people who are like, yes, give me Lamar Jackson every day of the week, and you're going to have the people who are saying, no, I want nothing to do with that guy. I'm not sure what it is about him that creates that dynamic, but he just seems to be one of those guys. He's always going to be sort of a discussion unto himself. I think Josh Allen's you mentioned. I guess you said Josh Allen and Mahomes are sort of at the leading edge of
Justin
this new
Herbert's
wave.
In that group.
Justin Herbert's very much in that group. Justin Fields is starting to show things. I mean, but Fields is sort of caught in this. Matt Eberflus's first year head coach there, right, in Chicago. Nobody is willing to go John Harbaugh with these quarterbacks yet. And that'll be really interesting to see here when Malik Willis gets the job as the Titans starting quarterback. Are they going to go all in and say, we're going to have the zone read stuff, we're going to do all this, let him let him do what we're seeing quarterbacks do right now, or are they going to say, no, you've got to stand in there and I think with Malik, because he's short, relatively speaking, you're going to have to sort of turn him loose and let him go. But I'm starting to buy into the Justin Fields thing. I think if Tua can stay healthy, I think Tua's suddenly looks very interesting.
Yeah.
When you put the right weapons around him. Kyler Murray, Kyler Murray's the guy that should have come to mind immediately. Kyler Murray is the guy he is going to be the guy. If he is a 3-time MVP, takes the Cardinals to 2 Super Bowls, that is the guy to me who will tip the scales in a way that people thought Lamar Jackson would. I think if Kyler Murray can do it, then everybody's going to say, okay, that works. We're gonna go ahead and we're gonna emulate that style of play. And you're going to see a lot more teams going to do that. He's the guy to me that you have to watch most closely.
What's Trevor Lawrence?
It's a good question, and you got to give him a pass because last year was sort of a lost season to him in a lot of ways. I don't know if he got any kind of.
I don't even count. But this year,
any kind of quality NFL coaching.
He's been okay. I mean,
okay. It looked good early when they were winning, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure about Trevor Lawrence.
That's the number 1 pick overall.
But there again, he's a guy that you can turn loose more than they've turned him loose, and he's a big body, so you don't worry as much about him getting hurt, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if they're doing him any favors with their style of play just yet. And maybe that's one of those, we've got to get the basics of NFL quarterbacking down with him and then work out from there. Because like I say, I don't think he got any kind of NFL coaching last year.
Yeah, agreed. All right, we'll come back, wrap up this week's worth of shows here on the McFarland Show, WNSR, Nashville Sports Radio.
Nashville's first curling venue is here at T-Line Nashville. Come check out T-Line Nashville and experience the world's fastest growing winter sport today. Curling is a fun and simple sport that's a perfect outing for friends, corporate events, families, or parties. T-Line also has classic bowling and modern bowling mini games. With over 20 HD TVs, you can come watch your favorite teams and some of the best food and drinks here in Nashville in the large bar and grill area. They also have an outdoor area with a fire pit, and you can't forget the live music. T-Line Nashville is a one-stop shop for a great night out. Located at 106 Duluth Avenue and online at tlinenash.com. You can book your party now or give them a call at 615-439-1024. That's 615-439-1024. And make sure you give them a follow on Instagram and Facebook at T-Line Nash for all the news, events, and updates. T-Line Nashville. Nashville's first curling venue is here. Located at 5410 Murfreesboro Road in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers is one-stop shopping for all your liquor, beer, and wine needs and has been a multiple winner annually in the Best of Rutherford County voting for Best Liquor Store and Top Wine Shop. Featuring the lowest prices, the best customer service with unsurpassed knowledge, City Slickers offers the largest craft beer selection in Rutherford and southeastern Davidson counties and has beer on tap at its Growler filling station. City Slickers also sells mixers, sodas, snacks, tobacco products, and the Tennessee Lottery, and can place special orders and assist with all your events and even wedding planning. Make sure you follow City Slickers on all their social media or just give them a call at 615-280-7469. That's 615-280-7469. Located in the heart of Laverne, City Slickers.
NFL Plus is here, which means no matter where you are, this is how you football. You can stream live, local, and primetime regular season games on your phone or tablet, 45-minute game replays, and more. That's how you do it right there. This is the NFL for every fan. This is football freedom. This is your game on the go. Wherever you are, this is how you football. Go to plus.nfl.com/radio and start your free trial of NFL Plus today. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Sammy Kincaid, host of Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid. Every Saturday morning from 9 to 10, listen in as I highlight women in sports from high school to the pros, athletes and administrators. And you know what? Let's talk some ball with women covering the game across the country. Power Hour with Sammy Kincaid is every Saturday morning. Listen in on Nashville Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m.
Another fast-moving show today. 49ers have ruled out wide receiver / running back Deebo Samuel. He will not play against the Rams. He's dealing with a hamstring injury. It's good to be Hugh Freeze, if you haven't heard. New contract. He's not going to go to Auburn. He's not going to go to Nebraska. He's not going to go to Wisconsin. I'm trying to think of some of the other openings, big openings. But Hugh Freeze is staying at Liberty.
Not going to go to Iowa. Iowa might be open before long.
Oh.
I mean, Kirk Ferentz that offense is terrible.
I didn't know they.
Oh, yeah, they're terrible.
Well, I mean, I know, but he's been there forever.
Yeah, he's been there forever.
I thought he had a lifetime contract. No?
He's taking heat, because his son is the offensive coordinator, and they've got one of the bottom 2 or 3 offenses in the country, so he's taking some nepotism bullets right now,
okay.
And he took a shot at a reporter in a press conference this week. The mood is getting kind of sour there in Iowa City this year, or wherever that school is located.
That's usually the site. Is it Ames? Where are they? I don't
Ames
even know.
is Iowa
State.
Yeah.
And I've heard there's not much going on there in Ames.
Been there once. Didn't see much, but I don't know that there was much to see.
I don't think anything's changed since the last time you were there. So Hugh Freeze, 8 years, $5 million per year. So $40 million deal to stay there at Liberty. Cedric Tillman is expected to play. to return and play against Kentucky on Saturday night.
Big news for the Vols.
That
An
is.
already good offense, really good offense, gets better. One thing we haven't talked about today, meant to get to this earlier, Scott Ramsey, CEO of the Sports Council, issued a statement today about the new stadium, where he said that not that this is news, but this is kind of official now. He said in part, and I quote, "A new enclosed stadium will only help expand our mission and allow us to pursue sporting events like a Super Bowl, a CFP National Championship, a men's Final Four, and other events that meet venue requirements we are unable to currently fulfill." So Scott Ramsey telling everybody, get behind this movement, tell your representatives and whatnot to support the new stadium.
Well, and that's important because they did have a committee meeting on Wednesday night this past week. Burke Nihill was on with us the next day. But usually when the loudest people are what? People that oppose, right?
Yes.
So the louder voices are typically the opposition. And I remember Butch Spearden came on and said the same message, like, hey, also speak up that you're for it. I think that's what Scott Ramsey was doing with that statement right there. Hey, let them know that you're for this. This is a good thing. I would expect him to say that in the line of work he's in.
Indeed.
And
the line of work I'm in, I think it's a good
we
thing.
We both agree. David, a lot of fun. Thanks for hanging out these last couple of days.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This has been great.
Yeah, this has been a lot of fun. Everybody out there, enjoy your weekend. Looks like we're going to get some awesome weather tomorrow. Then maybe Sunday may have to deal with some showers. But overall, enjoy the weekend. We'll have tons of things to react to on Monday. For David Clymer, for Ray, I'm Darren McFarland. We will talk to you on Monday at 2 o'clock. Stay tuned. Afternoon Stretch is next.